Hi, all volunteers. It's Dana. This is our center one for our Earth and Sky last session on erosion. So in center one, you will have a manila folder with your outline, information about formation of a sand dune, because we're kind of talking about sand here, and it's a nice little flow chart you can show the children. And then there's some information about erosion and deposition that you can use, read with them. But there's also information about that on your outline. So when you are done with the session, please put it all back in the manila folder so it stays all organized for the next class. So the first thing we're going to do is called blowing in the sand. In your bin, you will have an empty bin, and then you will have a baggie with some little items to hide in the sand. So I recommend you just let the kids each pick one item, put it in there, and then you pour the sand in there. You should have dry sand. There's going to be dry sand. This big thing of dry sand will be in the elf closet, so make sure you grab this. You will have 2 bins that are empty that are marked damp sand. What you can do is, I've kind of done this already. I've put some dry sand from here into this because it's probably just a little easier to pour, or is a little easier to pour from this into here. So once you put your items in here, you cover it with about 1 inch just so all the items are covered. And then you will take this plexiglass, put it over it. You will give each of the children a straw. I have extra straws in the extra supply bin, but I just have 1 bag in here. And so if you notice they're running low, just grab some from the extra supply bin that will be in there. I'll also try and check and make sure things are not running out. But if you seem like it's low, feel free to email me at mitchellelf@gmail.com or text me with the number on the top of the bin. So you're going to give each child a straw, each student a straw. This is their straw. They're different colors, so you might want to give each kid a different color just so they know which is theirs. Tell them not to share their straw, to keep it in their hand, and because they're going to be blowing on it. So, and then once they've used their straws for these 2 things, have them throw them away. We don't need to save these. So what they're going to do is you're going to have each student one at a time. We'll pick a hole, and this will obviously be on the table. They'll have them stick their straw in and blow like wind. It'll be like wind, and let each student do it and then talk about what they observe and what they see about the wind blowing, and then you might be able to see the items. Then you're going to take off the plexiglass and have them, there are 2 spray bottles in there. I just put 2, you really only need 1, but I put both just in case one is not working well. Have them take a spray bottle which you filled up with water and spray and dampen the sand a little bit. A couple sprays each. It's very, you can try and move it around to make it less hard of a spray, or have them spray it far away. So they'll even see when they spray it, the sand moves. And then put the plexiglass back on, have them use the same straws again that they use, but do not use anyone else's straw, just use their own. Stick it in there and then try and blow and see what happens. When it's damp, it's less likely to move. You kind of talk about erosion and how the sand moves and the wind can pick up sand. And that's when you can talk about the formation of a sand dune. You can talk about the sand dunes here in Colorado. So that's the first experiment. Then you can let them take, I have scrapers in here, and it's easier to do it with this bin because it's like the sand is more, the sand's only going to be like up to here. And let them kind of move it around with the scrapers and play with it for a little bit if you want them to, and kind of see like moving sand and how hard it is to move the damp sand, and talk about how with the dry sand it moves so easily with just the wind, things like that. And then the second experiment, which you don't have to do if you don't have time, but it's also fun, and since you already have damp sand, that's why I included in there. You're gonna have a baking pan, so let me grab my baking pan real fast. And you're gonna have a measuring cup. Sorry about this, I just set it away. You're gonna take your baking pan that will be in here. It'll look like this, but probably nicer because this is mine. And you're going to take the damp sand. So this is damp sand that my kids and I did this experiment with yesterday. And you're going to make mountains and like a landform up here. So this is damp sand. It's kind of hard to see in here, but on 1/2, just on 1/2 of the baking pan, the top half. And then what you're going to do is you're going to, this will be easier because you won't have to be like holding up like this. You're going to use your finger, have the kids kind of play around with the sand. Oh, sorry. And so this is kind of what it looks like. Then you're going to use your finger, you're going to make a river through it right here. And you can leave some sand, but this is your river. And then you're going to take a measuring cup with water in it. I don't have water in it, but you're going to put it in here, and the water is going to flow down like an actual river. And you'll see when this happens, like some of the sand will like go out and it'll move down like this. Some will move all the way down, and it'll show you weathering and erosion and deposition, which deposition is what moves. So this experiment's called breaking, taking, and making. So you can kind of talk about that, how it breaks away, and then it takes it, and then it makes a new land formation towards the bottom. And then you can also, if you have time, then use a watering can. Here's a watering can, and kind of put the water on the sand, and that will show them like what happens when it rains. And so it's a little bit messy. You're gonna have a tablecloth in there to use to set down and just use it for all 4 sessions, and then at the end clean it up, put it away. With this sand, when you're done, I have these bins that say damp sand with this top, and you can put the damp sand in there if it's easiest, or if these are empty, I'm gonna have a couple of these that say place damp sand for drying. You can just take one of those with and just dump it like I am right now. And I spilled some. That'll be why you want a tablecloth. Just put the sand in here, and then at the end, when you've done all the kids' sessions, all 4 sessions, you'll just take this and leave it open, and the open sand will hopefully dry out, and then we can put it. I'll be there on and off, and so I can try to move it back to the dry sand. So that is this is center 1. Again, cleanup's really important. Try to not get the sand all over. I know you may have to throw away some sand, but if we can try and reuse as much sand as we can, that would be wonderful. And the ones that are for damp sand, I will just say for damp sand. And then when you transport them back, I have some with tops. You don't need to use the top to put them back in there. You can just leave them with damp sand. I'll leave one top in the center bin so you can cover it so the kids aren't like playing in it and stuff if you don't want them to. So that is center 1. If you have any questions, as always, email mitchellelf@gmail.com or text me. Let me know if things seem to be running out. I think you should be okay. If you need more straws, they should be in the extra supply bin that you don't have to bring with you to each classroom. You would just check and see, oh, do I have enough straws for 20 kids, 22 kids, however many kids, and just use them. And you just use 1 straw per kid and then have them throw it away. Thanks so much.